There are days when the heart feels heavy, days when a mother wonders, will my child ever find the strength to face the world? There was such a day in a quiet village. Long ago, an old woman, bent with age but strong in spirit, sat by the fire. Her name was Lois. Her eyes were tired, but her faith strong. She had raised her daughter, Eunice, in the ways of the Lord. Now, she watched as her grandson, Timothy, stepped into a world full of noise, danger, and distractions. Would he remember the stories? Would he carry their faith? Lois was no ordinary woman. She lived in a time when people around her chased different gods, different beliefs, but Lois stayed rooted in what she knew, the truth of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. She was like the old Igbo mothers we see today, strong-willed, quiet, but wise. She wore her ichafu, also known as head tie, like a crown, and walked with dignity. Every evening, under the odala tree, she would gather the children and tell them stories. Not just any stories, but stories of faith, of courage, of obedience. She told them how Moses parted the sea, how Ruth chose God, and how David faced Goliath. Her daughter, Eunice, was always by her side. Eunice was a beautiful young woman, intelligent, soft-spoken, but like many women, she faced pressure. She married a man who didn't share her beliefs. Some villagers whispered behind her back, "Why would Eunice choose someone outside the faith?" But Eunice remained calm. She knew one thing. She would not let go of what her mother had planted in her. And so, when her son Timothy was born, she made a silent promise. As long as I live, this boy will know the God of his mothers. Every morning, she would sing to him in their native tongue, songs of hope, songs of scripture. She taught him how to pray, how to love, how to forgive. She was raising a seed, just like her mother had raised her. Timothy was a bright child, curious, kind, but the world around him was changing. There were Roman soldiers on the streets, false teachers in the synagogues, people living for power and money. Louis would often sit him down and say, "Nnam, remember who you are. Remember the God of your ancestors, the one who never fails." And Eunice would look him in the eye and whisper, "Even if I am no longer here, let your faith remain." Timothy never forgot those words. Years later, a man named Paul would write a letter to Timothy. He had watched the young man grow into a leader, a preacher, a bold servant of God. And in that letter, Paul said, "I am reminded of your sincere faith, which first lived in your grandmother Lois and in your mother Eunice, and I am persuaded now lives in you also." This is found in 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 5. It was clear. Lois planted the seed, Eunice watered it, and God gave the increase. You may be a mother, a sister, a teacher, a friend, and maybe, just like Lois or Eunice, you feel like your efforts go unnoticed. But hear this. Every kind word you speak, every prayer you say, every Bible verse you teach matters. You are planting seeds, seeds of faith, seeds that can change a generation. Lois and Eunice didn't have platforms, they didn't have social media, but what they had was faith, and they passed it on. You don't have to have it all. You don't have to be perfect. You don't need to know the whole Bible. All you need is a willing heart and a steady hand to pass on what you believe. Your child is watching. Your friend is listening. The next Timothy may be growing in your home right now. Be that Lois. Be that Eunice. Hold on to faith. Speak life. Believe. Even when the world doubts. And one day, someone will say about you, her faith was real. And because of her, I believe too. This was the story of Lois and Eunice, as told in 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 5. A simple story, but a powerful reminder that faith can start with one woman and echo through generations. God bless you.